Hello everyone, and welcome to this recap show for our Summer of Someday tour. We just finished the actual 10-part series of our travels out west.
Yeah, we sure did.
And we kind of felt like we needed to do a wrap-up to kind of throw some information at you, questions that you may have about our trip, and how things went. And so that's what we're going to do. So let's jump right into it, Patty.
Okay.
And so what was your overall impression of this summer?
Oh my gosh. It was it's going to be ranked as one of the best summers that we've ever done on traveling. So it's one of the best. I had so many cool memories, so many neat things, so many neat people that we met, just beautiful places, just a great summer.
So if you haven't followed our Summer of Someday tour, you can go ahead and check that out. I will put a link to the entire playlist. You can watch the whole 10 episodes and then come back to this one to understand exactly what we're talking about. But for those of you who have been following along, you know that we left Indiana in June, mid-June, and we headed to Iowa for our camp out. It was the first of 2 camp outs that we actually did this summer. And then from there, we headed on out to the Tetons, and then eventually made our way to Oregon for our second camp out. And then we just kind of wandered all over while we were out there. So the total round trip, any idea how many miles we went on that total trip?
Well, I think I have an idea.
You probably do, since I've already told you. We actually, and we were so close to hitting 8,000 miles this year.
Crazy.
7,906.8 miles.
Oh my goodness.
And actually that is accurate because I made sure it was the complete loop from home all the way back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were just shy of about 93 miles. Had we have taken off on a little side trip someplace else, we would have hit 8,000 miles.
Right.
So in terms of how much did it cost us for gas, well, I can tell you this: we used 693.5 gallons of fuel this summer, and the average price that we paid was $2.93.
Right.
Which was actually a pleasant surprise.
Right, because when we were in the western states of Oregon and Washington and then northern California for a little bit, gas prices were
a little higher. But I actually I really thought this year our average fuel cost would be over $3 a gallon. So I think that was a pleasant surprise that fuel prices were down this summer.
Right.
And then so total fuel bill was $2,032. So yes, a lot of money just for fuel, but when you consider how far we traveled, then I don't think it was probably that bad.
It wasn't too bad.
We did average 11.4 miles per gallon with our Toyota 4Runner.
Yeah, with Fred.
Yeah, and that is an average of both when we were towing and when we were not towing. So I think last year we averaged 11.5 miles, so our average was down a little bit. And I don't know if that's just because the vehicle was getting older. I don't know if it's the way I drove. All right, so how long were we actually gone, Patty?
Well, we were gone. It was crazy. We got calculating 43 nights.
43 nights, 44 days, 43 nights.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
And I think I could have kept going.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
No doubt. So all 43 nights were spent camping.
Right.
And our average cost per night, $23.39.
Oh my gosh.
For a total of $1,005.87 is what we spent for 43 nights. Now, our most expensive campsite this summer, and I think this was a little bit of a shocker, it was actually a state park.
It was.
It was a Washington State Park, Grayland Beach.
Yeah, it was the most expensive one.
$56.50 a night. But in all fairness, that was full hookups. That was water, electric, and sewer. Plus there was an additional, I think it was $5 fee because we were out of state.
Right.
And that was a really nice site. And you could walk to the beach. I mean,
we
weren't like right on the sand or anything. I mean, it was a little bit of a hike to the beach.
But it was a beautiful campground.
Oh, absolutely. Well laid out. It was laid out in those loops, those small loops where there was about 10 sites per loop. So even though it was a pretty good size campground, it didn't feel that way.
It didn't feel like you were tight at all.
No, not at all. And then, obviously, our least expensive site technically would be when we boondocked.
Right.
But we'll talk about that in a second. But as far as paid campsites, our cheapest campsite, or least expensive, was Flat Rock
In Idaho,
It was
right?
a national forestry
Right.
campsite in Idaho. That's about 20 miles south of West Yellowstone. We had stayed there before, and $15 a night.
Yeah.
No electricity. They did have fresh water that
Right.
you could take a jug over and fill up with. They do have restrooms. I think those were pit toilets, but they're very clean.
Yeah, they were vault, but they were
Yeah.
nice.
And they do have some sites there, if I remember right, that you could get electric, and I think maybe it was like an extra $5 a night,
Right.
but $15 a night.
And we didn't need that because the solar was just such a sunny area. Even though there's trees, we were getting solar.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was nice.
So that was kind of that. Now, when we talk about the boondocking, we did do quite a bit of boondocking. I would have to say the Tetons. I just, in terms of just pure beauty, I mean, to be able to walk out, open the door, and see the Grand Tetons in the back, it was just crazy that was free.
Right. See, sometimes the boondocking sites, I get them mixed up with other sites in my head. But that was a beautiful one. And I also liked Landers.
Oh, yes.
Along
That
the
city
stream.
park
Yeah.
in Landers, it's technically free. We did do a donation. I think we
Right.
left $10 as a donation.
But it was just so neat.
Oh my gosh,
how
right
it
along the
was-
stream.
Yeah, and it was so clean, and the way you just kind of, everyone just pulled up along. No one was like side by side, or we had plenty of space, and it was just really cool.
Yeah.
So that's another one that kind of sticks in my head. I mean, Grand Tetons is just in its own park.
Right.
Its own dimension. But yeah, that was a really cool place.
In terms of just your favorite site, was that your favorite site,
No.
regardless of boondocking or paid? Or
If I'm thinking about the whole trip, my favorite site would have to be in Deception Pass when we were up in northern Washington.
Yeah.
That was it was so neat. I wish we could have stayed there longer. That was like the site I hated leaving the next day.
Yeah. And that was one of those last minute,
Yeah.
somebody had canceled, we just happened to
Our
log
view
in,
was
and
gorgeous
it
of
had to
the
be the
bay.
best site in that area. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a really good
It was
site.
really pretty.
I would say for me, and I think mine's a little different. For me, the best site, and this would not necessarily be for everybody or you, but staying at the Ingalls homestead, camping where Charles and Carolyn Ingalls actually
Yeah.
had homesteaded. And I know for me, a lot of that has to do with my sister, but just sitting by that fire and that gentle breeze, that prairie breeze, and that site for $30, and that was water and electric,
Right.
and they did have a dump station. Now I think the dump station said you were only allowed to dump your gray water, but which was fine, no issues
They were
there.
good.
We definitely had a lot of really amazing sites.
We've
this
had a
summer.
lot of neat sites, a lot of different diversity.
Yeah.
Like mountains and
So-
oceans and streams and prairie. And,
If that was your favorite, Deception Pass,
Yeah.
what was your least favorite? We'll call it least favorite.
yeah, my least favorite would have to be that we called it the parking lot at Tillamook.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was just the parking lot. It was just I felt a little uneasy.
It was probably one of those, and I'm sure there was no reason to feel that way,
You
but
just kind of had this
there was
feel.
there
when
were
I
just
first
some
got there.
there were some people that would come in late at night, and they were living there, I think,
Right.
and they didn't necessarily make you feel comfortable.
No.
Just their behaviors, and I think most of you understand what I'm talking about.
their
That sometimes you
mannerisms
just get
and-
this weird feeling,
Yeah.
and we had booked, I think, 3 or 4 nights.
And we
we left a night early.
short, yeah.
Mainly because we were done, and it just felt like a parking lot, and
We were so tight. You couldn't even sit out. The one view of your picture on Instagram made it look like a beautiful place.
Which is why I always say you have to be careful looking at pictures, because you can take pictures and make something look amazing. So
the
there
one
was
side where there are hills.
where we looked out at the hills, but when I backed up and got the full view, it was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. I mean, so yeah, I would have to say that was the one I was most disappointed
Yeah.
with. We also did some harvest hosting,
Yeah, we
which
did.
we're big fans
Yep.
of harvest hosting. If you're interested in harvest hosting, I'll go ahead and link a video right here to one of our Harvest Host stays, so you can learn about it. And if you're interested in joining Harvest Host, there's a link down below in the description for this video, or you can go to our website, travelswithdelaney.com, and find that link. It's going to save you 15% off of a yearly membership. Now, in full disclosure, it also means we will get a small commission off of it.
Yep.
But like I said, we have been members now for 2 years and absolutely love it.
They're
and as
great.
most of you know that are regular viewers, we don't promote anything that we don't use ourselves or believe in. So let's talk about
Well, my favorite.
Yeah,
and
favorite
I'm
harvest host.
See, these
Oh, this
are
is
really
tough.
clear in my head, and I was debating about which one would be my favorite. But I'm going to have to go with in Oregon, Melrose Winery.
Oh,
and my
Melrose.
reason is not just because we got Panda Express. And there's a reason for that. But I liked it because the tasting room just wasn't an ordinary tasting room. They allowed the pups to come in.
They were pet friendly.
And the tasting room was almost like a little boutique and a tasting room. So for me, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they had lots of little trinkets and pet supplies and shirts and yeah, it was nice. It was just beautiful. The grounds were immaculate.
Oh my gosh. Well, and while we were there, the reason we got Panda is because there was a wedding going on, and we didn't want to interrupt the wedding, so we took the pups because we didn't want them barking during the I-do's. Right. And we went into the little nearest town, and we saw Panda Express.
I had fully planned to cook that night, but I just said, there's a wedding going on or going to be going on, so yeah, we ran to town. I would say for me, I think it was that lavender farm in
See, I debated, yeah.
Because the smell, first of all, I was never so calm as I was that night. All that lavender.
Yeah, if you love lavender like we do, it was beautiful and it smelled amazing.
I would say the only disappointing thing about the lavender farm was when we checked in, the lady had told us there was just going to be two of us. There was a motorhome with another couple, and there was us. And they had taken the lower spot. Yep. We got the big upper spot all to ourselves and overlooking lavender. And she said, if you wait till, I think they closed at 7, she said, you're going to have the whole farm to yourself, and just the two of you. And so we didn't really do any pictures because they were busy all day long. And then it was just a little after 7, I think.
And then a van pulled up with some, I guess,
tourists or something. They almost looked like they were a photography class because they all had these massive. They stayed till dark, and they were so spread out. And it was only about 8 or 10 people, but
the way they were spread out, we couldn't do the really neat photos.
Not the things I had planned to do video-wise, photography-wise.
And we were trying not to interrupt them, but then all of a sudden it's like the pups needed to walk. So.
Finally, we just said no because I'm not even sure they were supposed to be there because the farm was closed. So, but no, that was an amazing experience. Did you have a favorite meal on this trip?
I did. And it would have to be when we were at the Lavender Farm, which is near Sequim, Washington. And we went to, I guess it was a market. It
was a market that April and Tommy had suggested we go to.
And we got some salmon. And it was just, I like salmon. Patrick has got me into salmon. And this salmon, oh my God. I just remember it being so buttery. It was just so good.
And I remember I just said to the guy there was a piece of salmon that looked like it'd feed 2 people. I said I'll take that, and then when I checked out, it was $22. And I didn't even think that the sign said $21.99 a pound. Which here at Aldi, when I buy salmon, we usually spend like $8.99 a pound.
Right.
So and then I really had a freak out moment because I realized after we got back I had the Blackstone, and I'm like, how am I going to cook this? Luckily, we live streamed that night, and I mentioned it, and somebody had said, why don't you wrap it in foil? It came out perfect.
It was so delicious.
It really was. That was.
Yeah. So that would be one of my favorites.
I would say mine is the night that
Panda
was pretty good. Yeah, it's sad that we get excited about Panda Express, but no, I would say the night that Russ and Carrie cooked Hawaiian.
Yes, that was
I'll tell you what, it was
fun.
just one. It was because they were sharing with us recipes that were important, to Russ growing up.
Right.
I had never had musubis before, which were the spam wrapped in. And, it
was so good.
And then the chicken, and I just absolutely love Carrie's Hawaiian potato or macaroni
salad.
salad.
And how can you beat an elbow pie?
This is true. That was the famous elbow pie. So yeah, for me that was. I mean, we did have a lot of good meals.
Yeah.
We cooked a lot, obviously. Now the one thing I know a lot of you are going to say, well, how much did you spend on food? We didn't keep track of that because here's the thing. If we had stayed home all summer, we were going to have to eat. We were going to have to buy groceries. We definitely would have went out to eat. And I think we probably ate out less on the trip than had we stayed home.
Well, and I think we ate, and we tried to at home too, but we ate real healthy.
We did.
With lots of fruits and vegetables, which was just what we were looking for. Because, it's what you want in the summer.
Yeah.
At least I want.
So we didn't actually keep track. I will, this would be my travel tip. If you're traveling and you're tired of fast food and you don't want to cook and you want something decent that won't break the bank, consider stopping at grocery stores to see if they have a deli. Because two that we really liked this summer was Fred Meyer out on the West Coast. They do a chicken meal.
Like fried chicken.
Actually, you have your choice if you remember. Fried or baked.
Okay.
So we actually, you could do baked if you want healthier, and it comes with sides. And so I believe you had mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans and a dinner roll. And I think it was 2 pieces of chicken.
No, a lot of chicken.
The 2 sides and a King's Hawaiian roll. And I think it was some ridiculous price, like $3.99 or $4.99.
Yeah, I couldn't eat it all.
That was very good. We ate at a couple Fred Meyer's, and then the other one was Safeway.
Yeah.
We had breakfast one morning at Safeway, made to order breakfast sandwiches.
They were, weren't they wraps or something?
Or they were wraps. Yeah, they were like burritos.
They were really fresh and good.
And then the Shanghai Special.
Shanghai Special.
It was so funny. I went in to get a couple sandwiches, and they were just putting out all of their Chinese food, and it looked so good. And the lady said, "Best deal we have, the Shanghai Special." I think it was like $11.99. And you ended up getting 2 orders of either fried rice or the noodles, the lo mein.
Yep.
You got 2 entrees. You got 2 egg rolls or pot stickers.
Pot stickers, right?
Yeah. And so we felt bad because there was so much food we couldn't eat it all.
Couldn't eat it all.
And that was when we were having the issues with the refrigerator.
Yep.
The cooler was completely stuffed, and we ended up throwing away almost half that food.
There was no way to keep it.
But for $12, I think it was $12. What an amazing lunch!
It was really good.
And then we could talk about food forever, but that restaurant in Leavenworth that April sent us to, that we ate at with Kevin and Karen,
and the pups were allowed.
And the pups were allowed
at that time.
Those bratwurst
were the worst. No,
they were the best. Munchen Garden, I believe, was what it was called. The Munchen Garden.
Yes.
And it was funny. There was a long line, and initially Kevin and I were like, we're gonna go across the street to the other place because there was no line. And then when we were buying the pet stroller, the lady, she said, where are you going to eat? And I told her, well, and she goes, no, you got to stand in line. It's worth it. And I think even Kevin agreed afterwards.
Yeah, Kevin and Karen liked it too. So.
Everything we had there was amazing. So.
Yeah, the beer, the brats, all good. Yeah. Good stuff.
One of the questions with RVs always is, how far do you drive in a day? Now, we've always said, like, come Christmas, we gotta go because we only have the 2 weeks at spring break. We only have the 1 week, so we do longest. So this summer though is a little different, or summers are a little different. Sure. Our longest day, Patty,
I think, was at the beginning.
It was near the beginning when we left Grand Island, Nebraska, and drove to Lander, 630 miles that day.
Yeah, that was our long day.
And you know what? I don't remember it feeling that bad.
No.
The worst part of that day was the high winds.
The winds that we encountered.
Where we actually saw a trailer flipped over. It was a cargo trailer.
Right.
And that was on the eastbound lane. It actually shut down I-80, I think that was.
I think we were on I-80,
yeah. And I remember white-knuckling it on 80 for a while and just having to go really slow. But in terms of being one of those days where you're just like hurting and we got in partially because we gained an hour.
Right.
But that was the night we got into Landers at a fairly decent time. But 630 miles was the longest. And I think we averaged like 250 or 300 miles a day if you look at the whole trip. Our shortest day, you'll never believe this.
Funny.
25 miles.
Ooh.
When we moved from Arcane Cellars up to Shampooey for the camp out, we went a whopping 25 miles. So that was our shortest day.
That was our shortest.
But I would say, for the most part, we never drove more than 3 or 4 hours a day.
That's one thing I like about summer.
Yep.
Is we don't kill ourselves when we're out exploring, and that's the way I like it. I like to not go. So that's what's great about summertime. So
let's wrap up by talking about the things we saw. What was your, let's say, favorite attraction? And I use attraction as a catch-all phrase. I mean,
or favorite area. Parks, and we had all kinds of places we were able to see, battlefields and so forth. Right. I think what comes to my mind when I think of summer is the Redwood National Forest. Yeah. That would have to be one of my top favorite places that we were able to see.
I know. Well, and first of all, to me, this is hard. And I know it is for you.
Tough.
Because when you say what was your favorite, because the Redwoods were amazing.
And then the
Devil's Tower
was
amazing. And that was one that and you saw in that video where I said, I just thought it was going to be a big rock.
And of course, the Laura Ingalls homestead was just
And again, for us, that was more personal.
Yeah.
But I think anybody who would go there, if you ever read the books or you ever watched the TV show,
it's worth your time. Yeah. And then we're going to go back, I'm sure, to the town of De Smet. And there's some stuff there that
we didn't even get to do the stuff in town,
and that was something that was pretty neat. So, but Redwoods are just so amazing.
And I got to be honest, Puget Sound. Let's call it Puget Sound. But up north, Anacortes.
Oh
and,
my gosh!
And, you
more
know,
time there too.
We definitely have to go back there because we were only there the one night. We
Right.
crammed in as much during that day as we possibly could.
We had a lot of intel that helped us.
Yeah, Jeff. I'll tell you what, Jeff.
Shelley,
everybody. April gave us
Tommy,
tons of information, and so did Kevin and Karen. And many others. I know I'm leaving people out.
That just helped us along the way with such neat things that we need to stop and see. So
right.
Yeah.
What was your least favorite thing that we did all summer? Would you say? Like, I mean, where would be a place where you can say, did it, never going back? Yeah, don't need to go back.
Deadwood.
Yeah.
The reason for me is, I don't like to be with a lot of people, and it was just one of those. It was the weekend prior to Sturgis, but it was packed. It was kind of tight and loud, and
it felt like Gatlinburg
kind of
or the West.
Yeah, and we've been to Gatlinburg. We know what
that's. I like Gatlinburg. I don't mean that badly, but it's commercial. It's
we're
touristy,
not big into
and we're just not into that.
Commercially type places. We like more nature type places.
And here's the thing: we loved Virginia City, Wyoming.
That was nice.
But there's going to be people who will go there and say, "I don't get it. I don't know why you guys liked it because it was just this rinky-dink little old western town." But that's more our speed. We like the quieter, less commercial. And so that's just for us. So please never, because I know people who love Deadwood.
Oh yeah.
But for me,
just for me, it didn't work for me. And,
right.
And that would be the place I'd be like, okay, I don't need to go back there. You know, there's places we've been places like that all over, and it's just like, yeah, I don't need that. I've seen it. It's neat. I don't need to go back.
Right.
Yeah. Was
there any like thing that where you were just like you weren't expecting it? Was there some unexpected, and you go, that was pretty cool.
Well, I guess a lot of the stuff we did in Washington.
Well, that's true because we hadn't really planned on anything.
Leavenworth and Deception Pass and the Puget Sound and the beauty up there. We didn't expect to see all that.
Yeah, I would say riding the ferry because we had not talked about ferrying this summer at all. That was kind of cool.
That was neat.
And Craters of the Moon was really unexpected.
Was neat, and that was really unexpected, and that's neat. And from that little trip to Craters of the Moon, I got a teaching idea out of that, and my gal at school is helping me get the book. So that was a really neat. It's a neat place. I wouldn't have to stay there. I probably don't need to go back, but it's just you feel like you're on the moon.
Right.
Yeah. It's cool.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, this summer kind of became the summer of YouTube.
It did.
Oh my
YouTubers.
Gosh. Oh, so we ended up meeting up with the Roads We Roam, Russ and Carrie, who I now consider really good friends.
Yeah.
I don't. There's something. There was something magic.
We had a
there's
connection
just something.
there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun together. A lot of good food together.
We did. And then we got to hang out with John and Kristen and the kids from No Ordinary Path. Awesome family, awesome channel. I still say that is going to be the next Keep Your Daydream channel if they keep doing it, which I think they will.
Yep.
Who else? We DNS Adventures. We got to hang out with Shane. Boiler up, hammer down. So I love hanging out with
and
Purdue
don't forget
alumni.
Randy.
And then finally we got to hang out with Randy from Randy's Adventures. Yeah. And again, it
she showed us around her cute little area.
Yeah.
It was
so nice. Randy was awesome.
It was fun.
So maybe we should go into some rapid fire. I'll just throw first thing that comes to mind. You tell me. Best part: people or places?
People.
Nora or Bigfoot?
Nora.
I wanted to see where she's going to go with that one. So for those of you who are like, who's Nora? Nora is our friend in Oregon who I kept telling her, like, she kept acting like we were some kind of celebrity, which we're not. She's the real celebrity.
Yeah.
Nora Gagaudis, check her out. I mean, she has written books. She's been on the Dr. Oz show. I mean, she really is like a foremost authority on paleo and not just the diet, but the whole lifestyle. I'm actually listening to her CDs on days that I go to work without Sam in the car because Sam doesn't seem to be into that. But so I just threw that out because Bigfoot or Nora. So and Nora, if she's watching, she'll get the reference to Bigfoot. Yep. So her and I had a long conversation about Bigfoot and missing people and things like that.
Yeah.
So all right, I guess that was it. I could do Russ or Carrie.
Oh, that's tough. Both.
Yeah. See, I knew you weren't going to fall for that one. So
that's a trick.
So anyway, that pretty much recaps our whole summer. 43 nights on the road, and
I think after this summer, we've talked about that's kind of what we want to do when we retire.
Yeah,
I could see us being like harvest hosting or being a host at a campground for months. and then
Yeah.
moving.
We hope you enjoyed our
we
Summer
hope so.
Sunday
We had
tour,
so
and
much
for
fun.
all of you that were a part of it, thank you so much. Whether we got to meet up with you, whether we got to camp with
Yep.
you, or whether you just came along for the
Yep.
ride through our videos, thank you so much. Thank you for all the love and support you give our channel.
Oh, yeah.
And until next time, everybody, we'll see ya.
On down the road.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Right.
Wave, Leo.